Currently a freshman student at the University of Wyoming, and I'm studying musical theater in the Honors College. So today I just want to talk to you about my choice. And that choice is that I will live a life that is alcohol, drug, and tobacco free. And I want to point out that this choice is not a religious choice. It is not something that someone has forced upon me. It is not something that anyone is helping me to do. It is a completely personal choice. So I'm going to talk about why I made this choice and also how we as a community can help other students and other young people of today to make similar choices. So first, I just want to point out before I start that I am extremely lucky. I recognize that I'm privileged, and that means that I have limited risk factors. My family situation is great. I have two parents that have been in love for 30 years now. I have a great sister, a great brother, lots of dogs and cats in my house, and I think that I want to recognize that I have a great family situation. So because of that family situation, I have a really strong support system. That comes from my family, that comes from my community, and just the state as a whole. I never suffered depression or anxiety. Not more than the average person, but I've never had to turn to substances because of that depression or anxiety. My genetic makeup is great in terms of I do not have a family history of addiction. And my perceptions are actually really different than other teenagers. I did not grow up in a household that had alcohol in it. My parents don't drink alcohol. I'm surrounded by people who were not addicts, who don't even consider that to be normal. So my perception still is that it is not a normal thing to do, and I'm okay with spending the rest of my life never having that, making those choices. And then the last thing is just expectations. I am a former distinguished gentleman of Wyoming. There are a lot of expectations for me to represent the state. And in terms of expectations, have you met my dad? If you don't know, he was the one who, with the Bernie and Earth line, yeah. And so he's actually been working in prevention for longer than I've been alive. So talk about expectations. The expectations I have for myself and that I put on me are extremely high. The thing is that even with all of these things out of the way, that still does not guarantee that I will make this choice. Because again, it is a personal choice once I become an adult. And here's the problem. I've been thinking about why I've made this choice. And for the past 18 years, it's because it's illegal. That's really I don't do things that are illegal. Here's the problem though, is that in a couple of years, it's going to be legal for me to buy and drink alcohol. In a couple of years, I can go to Colorado and buy marijuana legally. Right now, there's many different ways for me to get prescription drugs legally. And currently, I can legally smoke marijuana. Smoke tobacco. And so it's becoming a bigger problem because now I don't really know why am I making this choice. So I've thought about it a lot. And there are many different reasons. But the biggest thing I think it comes down to human fears. We all have fears. I have a fear of spiders. Many of you probably do as well. I fear heights. Public speaking. Interesting fact, humans fear public speaking over death. So as the great Jerry Seinfeld once said, humans would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. So the point of all that is that we have very, very realistic human fears, but my biggest fear is not spiders, it's not heights, it's a loss of control. And so I'm going to use a hypothetical situation to explain this. So I'm still a fairly new driver, so when I get into my car, I do have to be alert, but I also feel safe, because I know that I am in complete control of my vehicle. That is up to me to stay safe. But I still have to be alert, because I know that I cannot control this car. And I can't control this car. Or this one. Or this one. I cannot control if an animal jumps in front of my vehicle. And I definitely can't control the crazy Wyoming wind that we all know and love. But here's the thing, what's the constant in all of this? It's my car. Because I know that I am in complete control of my car, and that is why I can get on the road and feel safe. If I were to use substances, I would lose that control. And to me, that's the scariest feeling ever. And some might say that, okay, yeah, but what about smoking? You don't lose control when you smoke. I disagree. When you are addicted to something, you are giving part of your identity to that something. That you are giving part of your control up. And to me, that is seriously the scariest thing, over spiders. And so, here's the thing. In making this choice, it means that I have to say no thank you. And that can be really difficult. It's a difficult choice to make. And over the years, I've had to do this many times. Not only saying no thank you, I don't drink, but saying no thank you, I don't want to go to that party because it will be putting myself in a situation that I don't want to be in. And so, how is it? The problem is that there are these cultural norms that drinking and smoking and using drugs is something that you have to experience. I've heard this so many times, the college experience. How many of you have heard that before? I mean, it's a big problem, and people, when I say no thank you, I have to justify why I'm saying no thank you. I have to tell them the reasons that I'm not going to drink today, or that I'm not going to drink ever. And to me, that is just not right. So, I'm going to tell you a little story. The very first week of school, of UW, I was at the college orientation for freshmen. There was, we had a pep rally, so it meant that every single student who was an incoming freshman came to the pep rally. We were in the stadium. There was a marching band. It was all fun and everything, but then they gave us these papers, and on one side there was the song Ragtime Cowboy Joe, which is our school song, and it was great, and we sang it, and it was super fun. On the other side there was something called the beer song. And I don't have any problem with the beer song, but I want to remind you that every single person in that stadium was a freshman, and they were 18 to 19 years old. So if you're not familiar with the beer song, impression of college life. I was really confused, to be honest. I came home that night, I remember, and I talked to my parents and I said, is this what I need to change into? Is this part of being a college student? Do I need to do this? Do I need to sing this song and enjoy it and go out and drink a beer afterwards? And they said, no, this is not necessarily the college experience. And I said, but everyone's telling me this is the college experience. And they said, just go to college. You will understand. It's been 5 weeks, I understand. There's so much more. I am having to turn away opportunities because they make so many opportunities available for college students. The problem is that this is the perception, this is the norm, this is the college experience that we walk in thinking this is what we do. And we see this in high school as well. This is not just with college. So this moves on to the next point of how is it that we can help other students to make this choice or similar choices to what I am doing if this is the perception. And I have one word for you, and that's expectations. Right now, adults have really low expectations for teenagers. This might surprise you, but let me explain. So throughout high school, I heard this many, many times, and it's the saying, teens will be teens. Meaning that this is the time of life when they experiment. This is the time when they're going to make mistakes. And that's fine. I understand that nobody's perfect. But along with that comes the expectation that teens will act out irresponsibly. That they'll not try hard in school. That they'll talk back. And that they'll make bad choices. Here's the thing. Teenagers are really smart. They're just as smart as any adults, maybe even smarter with this age of technology. But they know that when an adult walks into the room with this perception, with these expectations, they can tell that they are expecting them to do something wrong, and that normalizes bad behavior. So what if we were to change our expectations? What if teens will be teens meant that we expect teens to take responsibility for their actions, to work hard to achieve their goals, to be kind to others, and to make good choices? These seem like really high expectations, but realistically, these are the same expectations we have for children, and the same expectations we have for adults. So why is it that this in-between stage, between childhood and adulthood, it's okay to act out and rebel? And again, I know that no one is perfect. I make mistakes. People make mistakes. But the idea that people think that teenagers are just going to do something bad because they're going to do something bad, it's giving the idea that bad behavior is normal, and it's not. So I had the interesting opportunity in my time as the Distinguished Young Woman of Wyoming to experience something that not many people get to experience. When I went to nationals, there were 49 other young women, one from each state, a representative, and every single one of them was very successful. They were extremely talented and intelligent and smart and kind, and they had great grades, and they were going to go on to do great things. And every single one of them had these expectations, whether that's from their family or their community or their state, and then now the national competition. And all of them had great morals. They had similar choices that I have made, similar to my choice. I believe that every single young person deserves these expectations to be put on them. And I think that if we do that, we can help lower these abuse rates. So if you're going to walk away with one thing from today's presentation, I would say that every teen lives in a unique situation and has diverse risk factors. But using substances is still a personal choice. Changing our community's expectations can help support teens to make better choices and to take responsibility for their actions. So finally, I just want to thank each and every one of you, not only for being here today, but just for what you do in terms of prevention. I know that sometimes it may feel like it's not working, that nothing's happening, that no one is listening. I am listening. It is working on me. So thank you for making my past as a high school student, my present as a college student, and my future as an adult substance-free. Thank you.